أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Um, hope you guys are all doing well today. Um, I actually only did one ayah today, um, but still making a video, daily video. Just had a very busy day, and I figured, I'm gonna try and sleep early tonight, so I don't want to just like try and half memorize some ayahs, because Quran is something you have to take your time with and give the proper respect, right? That being said, one of my New Year's resolutions this year was actually to um, still do like one ayah every single day in terms of memorization. Just because um, I actually told one of my friends this: if you did one ayah a day, um, you would have 17. It would take you 17 years to memorize the Quran. Um, and so I made that joke because I'm like 25, right? So I was like, by the time I'm 40, and we all already know like a bunch of ayahs from like Jozama, and at baseline, like you probably know a couple of surahs, Fatiha, Ikhlas, Nas, um, Falak, Deen, like all the easy surahs, right? So if you take out all those ayahs, I was like, it would probably, by the time we're 40, is there really an excuse that we're not memorizing the Quran, or having memorized the Quran by then? And so yeah, today is one of those days where we're just gonna do one ayah today. Um, but that being said, there's a beauty within each individual ayah, um, and each ayah in the Quran is like precious and valuable. So, Bismillah Rahim, it's ayah 109, Surah Al Imran, just a one-liner. Inshallah, all you guys memorize this ayah too. Um, 10 seconds you can do. And trick honestly is if you memorize an ayah, try and connect it with the ayah before and the ayah after, and then understand the meaning, and you'll never forget it, right? So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَلِلَّهِ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَإِلَى اللَّهِ تُرْجَعُ الْأُمُورِ. And this ayah means, to Allah alone belongs whatever is in the heavens and whatever is on the earth, and to Allah all matters will be returned for judgment. Um, so not a deep meaning ayah, right? We know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, you know, in control of everything on the heavens, the earth, um, and to Allah all things will return for judgment. So that again, that concept of the day of judgment. And honestly, I know this is gonna sound a little bit ignorant, but I did not realize how much in the Quran the day of judgment is talked about. At least in the surahs I've done so far, it is mentioned so often. And so obviously, right, the matter is so important. But I'm just always surprised by how often that is mentioned. I'd be curious to see. Maybe I'll search it up at some point if there's an exact count of how many times that's mentioned, um, in reference to, or something like that. But I found that super interesting. Um, but yeah, very simple ayah. Sometimes the simple ayahs are difficult because so many ayahs in the Quran say فَالسَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ. So just remembering like in context with the other ayahs where it comes. In standalone, you can memorize it, right? وَلِلَّهِ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَإِلَى اللَّهِ تُرْجَعُ الْأُمُورِ. Simple ayah. But in reference in relation to everything, that's where the kind of the test of the Quran comes in. Memorizing it, right? Um, but yeah, always remember just one ayah a day. That's my really, I guess, a takeaway for today. Just try and do one ayah a day. Simple. Start with easy surahs. You don't have to start from Baqarah. You don't have to start from like these difficult long surahs. And just go and, you know, 30th juz, start with 30th juz. Um, the beauty of the juz amma is that a lot of the ayahs rhyme, so it's easy to pick up, right? Um, like you can literally any surah you want. You can start from Surah Naba, right? First surah in juz amma. Amma yatasa'alun. وعن النبأ العظيم الذي هم فيه مختلفون كلا سيعلمون ثم كلا سيعلمون. um, ألم نجعل الأرض مهادا والجبال أوتادا وخلقناكم أزواجا. I think that's seven ayahs. So that would be 1 week right there. Um, and you can see that those string of ayahs you can just memorize in 30 seconds. Um, so really, if you really think about it, you could, if you really did just one ayah a day, you could become hafiz way quicker than 17 years. Now, obviously, that also means taking time to go back and review what you've done. And, you know, there's obviously going to be days if you did that where, like, for example, Surah Baqarah, page 48, right? That ayah is 1 page long. So that would be a difficult day. But regardless, just encourage everyone to choose surahs that you like, by the way. I think I've found that surahs that I wanted to memorize at the time because I was genuinely interested or I just heard it and I was like, whoa, that sounds cool. I want to know that. Like I memorized Surah Zumar um like sometime last week because I was like I really like that one ayah in Surah Zumar, right? Ayah 17. وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِّرٍ. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna memorize the surah. Or a lot of people like Surah Rahman, so they memorize Surah Rahman, Surah Yasin. These are popular surahs. Surah Waqia. Um, so memorize the surahs that you're interested in, the surahs that you like. And if you really take it from a day by day process, um, honestly, that's with any task ever, by the way. You can't look at it from a large point of view. It's too overwhelming. So you have to break it down into individual day by day tasks. What am I going to do today that will lead me to reaching my goal? Um, so that means, you shouldn't look at the Quran and be like, whoa, there's 6,000 ayahs. Like, how am I ever going to do this? But you should think, okay, there's 114 surahs, and some of these surahs might take a little bit of time, but some of these surahs are also very quick and short. Um, so, like, for example, a lot of people have done just 30, sure, or most of just 30, so I won't use that. But even if you go to just 29, Surah Muzammil. Surah Muzammil is a page and a half. Surah Qiyamah uh, is 1 page, I believe, just 1 page. Surah Al-Jinn is 2 pages or one. I want to say it's 2 pages, but it could be one. I think it's 2 pages though. Haven't memorized it yet. But those 1 page, 2 page surahs, you can do that in a week. You can do that in 2 weeks if it takes you. That's fine. Surah Mulk is 2.5 pages. You can do that in a month. And if you did the Ramadan challenge, you'd be almost done with it, right? So you can do the surahs, but it's all about just starting it. That's the most difficult part. You have to start one day. But if you put your mind to it, it's definitely achievable. So not a lot of content today, but still important takeaways. So just my thoughts on today. Hope you guys enjoyed, and tomorrow we'll have more than an ayah, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.